What's up, everyone? New supplement segment today. Episode. Actually, I don't know what episode it is, but today's topic is what you see right beside me. Everybody knows what this is. If you don't, something's wrong. You might have clicked on the wrong video or something. Maybe you gotta go educate yourself a little bit more. I'm gonna be doing it a little bit different than the regular style supplement segment. So you're used to seeing me in a different location, I know, on that bar, but unfortunately I'm moving or in the process of moving, so the place is not available, so we're making do with this for now. Now, one thing I want to say is I apologize for not uploading on Monday. Things been a little bit tough, but then again, that's just an excuse. Don't worry, back on schedule. Hope you guys like this video. Before we jump into the video, go ahead and hit that subscribe button because I'm going to be coming out with consistent content, 100%, and it's going to be good. All your fitness needs right here. Also want to say thanks for watching. I appreciate the support. That being said, let's dive right in. Actually, one more thing. I do have studies in the links below in the description box just to back up everything that I'm saying. Just to make sure you know I'm not bullshitting you. I keep it real. Protein powder. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to break down the 3 main types of protein powder that there are. And very important, so stay till the end. I'm going to cover 2 of the biggest myths that you are probably responsible for spreading at some point. So I'm going to cover them and I'm going to bust those myths today. And I'm going to change your perception on protein powder. There's 3 different types of protein powder, all right? There's whey concentrate, there's whey isolate, and there's also casein or casein, however you want to pronounce it. Casein protein. Let's break down each one of these, and I'm also going to go over when or why you would take one over the other. And I'm going to basically go over who should really look into taking protein powder, or if it's just a waste of your money. So let's go. First on the list, we got whey concentrate. What whey concentrate is, essentially, it's protein that's a byproduct of the process of when you're trying to make cheese. Sounds kind of gross, I know, and if you're somebody who doesn't like cheese, don't even worry. It tastes nothing like it, unless maybe there's like a cheese flavor out there, in which case I don't recommend. So like I said, it's a liquid byproduct. Once you remove the water and the casein protein, you're left with whey concentrate. Now it goes through a process that's known as microfiltration. So this essentially makes sure that the protein stays pure and it stays at a very high quality after the process is complete. This also ensures that it stays high in BCAAs, okay? Now, if you're not sure about BCAAs, what they are, or the supplementation aspect of them, I do have a video covering all you need to know about BCAAs. Go ahead and click right here for that video. So concentrate is the most common form of whey protein, and it's actually typically has some carbohydrates in it. It's got lactose, 100%. So right off the bat, if you're lactose intolerant, it's a no-go. It also typically can have some fats in there as well. Have a little bit of cholesterol, nothing crazy. Pretty much a very high level protein, very high quality, very easily absorbed by the body. So that's what concentrate's about. Now let's compare it to whey isolate. So that's number 2 on the list. Whey isolate, in comparison to whey concentrate, they're almost the same, but the isolate goes through an additional process that's going to separate even more protein away from those fats, carbs, lactose, and cholesterol. So that being said, there's also less calories in an isolate. And once again, an isolate can also be absorbed by the body very easily and very quickly. Now the main difference between the 2 is the concentrate typically has about 80% protein in one serving, whereas an isolate would have closer to 90%. Okay, that's nice and simple. Isolate's done as well. Now for casein. All right, casein's a little bit different. Since those first 2 I mentioned, the isolate and the concentrate, are very easily absorbed by the body, very quickly shuttled into the blood and into the muscles, that is what separates those 2 from casein. Casein is the other end of the spectrum, whereas it takes longer to break down in the body, which means it has a sustainable release of amino acids over time. Studies have shown, believe it or not, that casein actually creates a higher net protein balance in the body. By the way, if you're not sure what protein balance is or how that has to do with muscle building, go ahead and click the video right here. I'll explain more on that in there and whey protein relationship to it. As I mentioned, higher net protein balance as well as over a longer period of time. So the biggest anabolic effect will come from casein protein. Now I know what you're thinking, you're like, wait, that says enough right there. I'm just gonna buy casein and that's done. Why would I even think about the other 2, right? Not so fast, I'm gonna explain it. Just chill, just chill. The process for making casein, by the way, is completely different than it is for making the whey concentrate and isolate. So essentially, that's why it, like I said, is at the other end of the spectrum. It's a whole different process where they're actually heating up the protein in order to denature it to an extent. And then after that, they precipitate it and all these other things to create that slow acting process. So now you've got an idea of casein, isolate, and concentrate, okay? You've got your three types. Now, let's look at why somebody would choose one over the other. Somebody typically looking to get protein concentrate versus isolate, that's gonna depend on one main factor, and that's really your nutrition goal. What I mean by that is, let's say for example, you're a skinny boy or a hard gainer, and you really need to pack on more calories to pack on more size. In that case, it would probably be best to go the concentrate route because you're getting just as quick absorption in the body, but at the same time, you're getting the extra calories from the added carbs and fats in there, which of course, calories is the main thing we're looking for to put on weight. There's actually a second reason though that you would take concentrate over isolate, and that is the price. Concentrate costs less than isolate does, and sometimes the price gap could be pretty big depending on the company you go with and stuff like that. That's something else to keep in mind. Why somebody would choose isolate over concentrate is the same thing. So for nutrition wise, if you're say cutting or you're trying to lose weight while trying to retain or build muscle in the process, then isolate's your way to go because you're gonna minimize the calories and the carbs and the fats. So those are typically lower. And when you're cutting, your protein intake is still high, if not a little bit higher than usual to retain that muscle. So isolate would be your best friend in that case. The reason you would pick concentrate and isolate over casein is because of that quick absorption I kept mentioning. So that quick absorption is key, especially after a workout. Now, if you go back to that video I mentioned earlier about Muscle Building 101, then you're gonna realize that there is an anabolic window, and the best way to maximize the anabolic window and get all the protein you need in it is by getting something that allows your body to absorb very quickly and just get the protein straight into the muscle. As I mentioned, isolate is gonna be a little bit more expensive. So keep that in mind. However, like I said, some people, if let's say you're competing for a show or you're very, very strict, you've got something big coming up, a photo shoot, a vacation, whatever the case may be, if your goals and your seriousness and you have the money and all that overcomes the little trade-off that you get between concentrate and isolate, by all means, isolate's the way to go. All right, so now for casein. The best case scenario for casein is taking it at nighttime, obviously, since that's the longest period you go without eating. However, if you're fasting, you might even go longer periods throughout the day that you're not eating, in which case casein is even better for that. I have a client that fasts in the morning, until sunrise, and then after sunset. So before sunrise, boom, you pound in some casein. It's been shown through the studies that it could release up to 7 hours later. So if you're fasting or before bed and you're really serious about making those gains and dreaming about making the gains just isn't enough, casein's a good way to go on that. However, casein, not necessarily the best for post-workout, again, because of the anabolic window that I mentioned previously. One more thing to keep in mind, by the way, casein doesn't taste very good. Just straight up, most casein products, or at least the ones I've tried, do not taste very good. So of course there's trade-offs, and hey, that's just the way life goes. These gains ain't easy to get. Hopefully that's helped in knowing whether or not what kind of protein you're looking to get, if you're looking to invest in some. But if you stayed around for this part of the video, I'm gonna cover two of the biggest myths when it comes to protein. Myth number one, you need protein powder to be fit. Protein will not help you get fit. If you drink protein, it doesn't make you a fitness guru. It doesn't mean that you are suddenly in great shape. It doesn't mean that you know what you're doing. Not at all. People try to rely on protein, or they think, okay, I wanna be fit. What's the first thing you think of when you wanna be fit? One of the first things that comes to mind, people wanna say, oh, I should go buy some protein powder. That's a good way to start. That's completely false. Protein is not necessary to get fit. As I mentioned before, you notice I use the term processed. This is a processed food, okay? This is processed. It is not natural. You will always get better results from a natural source of protein over a protein powder. Shout out to Rich Piana for that one. All right, we got myth number two. Myth number two, protein powder will help you get results. This is pretty much completely false. And this reverts back to my last point. People think I'm gonna get a protein powder because how else am I gonna lose weight? I wanna lose weight, I need to get protein powder. I wanna build muscle, I need to get protein powder. I want to run a marathon, I need to get protein powder. It's just not true. And that mentality is already a losing mentality because you're thinking that you can go out and buy results. You think that this right here, where I go in, I pay somebody, they give me this, and there we go, we're all happy on the yellow brick road to gains. No, it's just not it. First things first, get your nutrition in place. Nutrition's 100 times more important than a supplement will ever be. Second, your working out, your training, your exercise has to be on point. This is for anybody out there who has a hard time consuming enough protein, whether it's building muscle, retaining muscle, just protein needs in general. But again, you obviously just need to replace something in your diet with a little bit higher protein source or healthier protein source. That should be good enough. But for the most part, nobody needs protein powder. However, we live in a world of convenience, and this can be pretty convenient. That being said, I hope this helped you in making a decision whether or not you're gonna buy protein, and if so, which protein to get. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you learned something. If you did, go ahead and smash that like button. Okay, more good stuff always on the way, and I'm gonna be consistent. Hit that subscribe button for all your fitness related content. Let's make some gains. Thank you all for watching. Hope you have a great day. See you in the next video.